Welcome to Dodgers Dogs. As part of the Dodgers Daily Network, Mark Watkins, as he does each and every Thursday, joins here on Dodgers Dogs. Mark, another disappointing loss yesterday. A game that really, losing never even crossed my mind. Another disappointing series, so dive in.
Yeah, great to join you as always, Casey. And yeah, very disappointing series again against a team that is not one of the best teams in the league. And the Dodgers to lose 2 out of 3 at home, obviously very disappointing and frustrating. They're just not getting the consistency that they need in different areas. You know, mainly it's been the hitting, but the bullpen kind of let them down in this series too. So yeah, just another frustrating series for them.
What is the most frustrating part of what's going on right now in terms of, is it the offense? Is it the bullpen? Starting pitching? I mean, how in the world do you lose to the Cardinals at home when in a 3-game series you're I think we have a feedback there just a little bit. I think you can turn that down. But in a 3-game series, your starters go 17 innings and only give up 2 runs. How in the hell do you lose that?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, they obviously scored 12 runs in one game, so they did explode offensively in one game. And a couple of the guys who hadn't been hitting, looked really good, like Teo, of course. But it was a combination of things, of course, and their hitting just has been the biggest culprit over the last month plus. They just don't have enough guys who are hitting the ball on a consistent basis and hitting for power. Teo, Mookie, Ohtani. I mean, Ohtani's been weird because he hits home runs here and there, but then he goes into these weird funks and strikes out, way too much, as we talked about on our last podcast. So, they just don't have enough guys hitting consistently and getting the clutch hits that they need.
What did you think about the bullpen yesterday? Justin Robleski, he was, I think you'd call that the piggyback. Brock Stewart, Alex Bessie. What did you think about them?
I mean, they didn't do what they needed to do in terms of holding the lead. Robleski's been contributing well this year, obviously. Him and Sheehan have been big for them this year. But, that was, disappointing for them, obviously. Brock Stewart, they need him to fill the role that they acquired him for, and hopefully he'll do that as time goes on.
So dive into Brock Stewart. Are you worried about him at all?
I wouldn't say that I'm worried. No, he's shown this year that he has the ability to be dominant, even to get guys out on a consistent basis. So it just apparently was not the right situation for him, or he just didn't have his stuff or something. But I still have a good strong hope that he'll do a good job for them as the season goes on.
Are you sold that Mookie is back? He looks better at the plate. I am totally sold that Freddie Freeman is back. Are you totally sold that Mookie is back and that he is ready to go on a run?
I wouldn't say totally sold at this point. It's just too small of a sample size. But, I'm obviously hoping he is, because he's been struggling all year and they need his bat. So, it's just a little bit too small of a sample size. He's looking much better. And hopefully it's a good sign for things to come. Yeah,
no doubt about that. So I've said this a couple times, see if you agree with me. Shohei needs to quit striking out. Mookie just needs to do something that's normal for Mookie. Freddie needs to quit striking out. Max needs to get back to being what we have always known Max to be. And then Teo needs to, even if he strikes out more, hit more home runs. Would that be a fair evaluation of what this offense needs?
Yeah, absolutely. And Max Muncie has been phenomenal since he started wearing glasses. He didn't skip a beat coming back from his injury, and it was great to see him also contribute the other night. And they were really missing him. He's a key part of their lineup, and during the time he was injured, they really struggled offensively. So I think he's always been more valuable to this team than people realize, I believe. And during his absence, obviously they suffered offensively.
Mm-hmm. What do you think about Ohtani on the bump? Pretty good.
Yeah, he looked pretty good. I'm anxious for them to ramp him up to where he can get to maybe throwing 6 innings at a time, But it's good to see him. He's been really solid on the mound. He looked actually very good on the mound. So
that's one of those deals where the Dodgers, they always are very cautious. I mean, you see it at Rancho, they're very cautious with these even young pitchers. They're They're major league pitchers, and it does not work. We have seen innings limits has not at all curtailed injuries. So I'm kind of the opinion that I know the Dodgers love the high ride. They love the spin. They love the maxing out on everything, which puts the most amount of duress on an arm, which is why you have the injuries. We know why it's happening, but because none of this has worked, why not just go ahead and say to hell with it? Let's get the most out of everybody we can. Why continue to, I don't want to say, we use the word baby, but why make this ramp up so slow when I think you have pretty good evidence it has not worked? Or maybe it has, and I'm too hard on that.
No, I mean, in the case of Shohei Ohtani, I'm kind of on the side of erring on the side of caution, basically, if you have to, just because he's so important and so valuable. But with a lot of other pitchers, I know what you're I know what you're saying. I get it. The Dodgers, I feel like.
But my point is, does throwing less does that actually improve your ability to dodge injury?
Probably not. No, I mean, as you mentioned, I think high stress, they want to kind of limit the amount of high stress pitches on pitchers' arms. I think the Dodgers, like a lot of other organizations right now, are just searching for answers because they've had so many injuries, and they're kind of trying to figure things out as they go as far as how to curtail some of these injuries, because the Dodgers, probably more than any other organization, have struggled with injuries.
The only way to avoid injuries, or at least not to avoid, but the way to cut down on injuries, it's shown it's not limiting innings. It's not. The Dodgers have tried all that. The 6-man rotation, the piggybacks, they've been as creative as you can possibly be trying to figure out new different roles for pitchers to try to avoid all this. I think really the only answer is quit trying to max out on everything. Go back to pitching instead of trying to have 2,700 spin rate. Maybe back it down to 21.5, 2,200 and rely on movement and be the type of pitcher that like Greg Maddux might have been. So I think that's really the only answer as we go. And I think if you look in the Dodger system, a couple of things, Mark, you see this, and we saw this last night, Wyatt Crowell, Luke Fox, these type of guys, they have put an emphasis back on pitching, movement, east and west type of setups, which I think is going to help with the injury type deal. And then they've also put an emphasis back on the stolen base and speed. 3 of the 4 affiliates lead their leagues in stolen bases. Two of the different teams, Oklahoma City and Rancho at least, have a player that leads the league in stolen bases. So I think the Dodgers are trending back to the east and west, less emphasis on spin rate because they're tired of all these injuries.
Yeah, those are a couple of great points. And one of them I was going to bring up and talk to you about the emphasis on speed and, hitting for a higher average than they have, not just launch angle like teams seem to do right now. But yeah, getting back to the point of the pitching, you're absolutely right. They need to teach these guys how to pitch, you go back to the model of Greg Maddux, where they're not maxing out on every single pitch, trying to throw a 100 mile an hour fastball or 90 mile an hour slider on every single pitch. And I think that's an excellent point, that they just need to teach these guys how to pitch, how to hit the corners, how to change the levels, how to change speeds, create movement. So all of those things I think are very important, and I hope they are getting back to doing that.
I gotta say this. I mean, why the hell didn't Max Muncie play last night? The Padres came back and beat the D-backs again. Okay, and so now it's a 2-game lead. Give the Padres a trip. We'll get back into the Padres conversation because it's fascinating to me. Because I think we agree for the most part, but we have some nuanced differences, which to me makes for fascinating conversation for me. But you can't play big picture here. Max Muncie can play every day. He's playing freaking third base. I mean, it's not like it's that. If he gets injured, it's likely he's going to get injured, and it's going to have nothing to do with the rehab. I don't see the point in sitting a position player out. I know he only had the 1 week at Oklahoma City, but I don't personally agree with not playing Max Muncie. I think that's too big picture looking.
I don't know why he was out of the lineup last night. I mean, obviously we're not privy to those conversations or decisions, but yeah, that was a little baffling, honestly, why he wasn't in the lineup last night. He hits, can hit lefties and righties well. So I think he should be in there every day.
Yeah. I mean, it's a precautionary deal because he's coming off the injury. It's one of those deals, the same reason why Shohei Ohtani only goes 4 innings and you freaking lose because of it. I mean, that's frustrating to me that you don't show your entire deck that you had available yesterday because you're precautionary, and then the evidence behind the precautionary moves don't suggest that the moves you're making actually help you reduce injury. That frustrates me. Somebody's going to have to explain that to me, why Shohei Ohtani's only going 4 innings, why Max Muncie doesn't play yesterday, when there is no evidence that actually is going to eliminate injury or reduce the risk of it.
Yeah, I mean, like we said, I don't think Muncie necessarily needed a day off, but obviously I'm not the manager.
Sure.
And Shohei Ohtani, I would hope that he goes at least 5 innings in his next start. I'm sure that they'll ramp him up to 5 innings and then ramp him up to 6 innings after that. A couple starts at 5 innings, 2 or 3 maybe, and then up to 6. But it's it's overly cautious, I guess you could say, in the case of Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah, and I don't want to talk anybody else into their thoughts, and it's certainly not you, Mark. I mean, if you think I'm wrong here or whatever, that's kind of why we're having this conversation. But Alex Freeland had looked very, very, very good. And I'll say this a couple of times. I'm very high on him. I'm higher on him than a lot of other people are. I think he's a great athlete. I think he has a good arm. I think he can play any position in the infield. I think he has a really good left-handed stick. Not quite sold on the right-handed side just because he doesn't, you don't see as many lefties. So I think that's kind of what we have to wait and see with Alex Freeland. He has shown no fear since coming up to the major leagues. Made a big mistake yesterday, just trying to do too much, which is a typical rookie mistake. So the defensive part of it, hey, no problem, Rook. I mean, you're trying to do too much. Relax. Just stay within your game. But his last at bat, I did not like. He got a 3-1 count, and he's not a home run hitter. He's a line drive hitter. He just needed to pass the baton to Shohei Ohtani, and he came out of his shoes trying to hit a home run, missed it, and because of that, the Dodgers never got to Shohei Ohtani in that last inning. So I had no problem with the defensive play, although it was bad. I'm not excusing it. I'm going to excuse that as a rookie deal, trying to do too much. But the offensive thing, I thought that was a little bit too, I don't want to say selfish, but just not the right approach.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you said. I think it's just a rookie thing, being a little over anxious, and trying to be a hero, so to speak. So I've seen Dalton Rushing do that on a couple occasions too. But overall, Freeland, he's really impressed so far, and I mean, his all-around game just looks really impressive. But when you have rookies, they're going to make those type of mistakes, and he needs to kind of stay within himself and do what he does best, and that's gonna really benefit the Dodgers.
And we do have a point which is very fair here from Donnie Boy. We have a great crowd logged in. Mark, every time you log on, the crowd goes wild here. Hey, good morning to you, Bruce. We have a point here from Donnie Boy, though. I'm probably being a little bit stupid on the Ohtani thing because he is injured. But again, you're trying to win a damn division. And by the way, the Padres are the last wild card spot. So, I mean, it's not to say if the Padres jump you, there's nothing to say that you don't even make the wild card either. I know you're sitting here, oh, hell, we're the Dodgers, this and that. That can happen, though. The big picture crap is gone, man. This is the stretch run. The Padres are on your heels. The wild card is on. I mean, the Padres are 2 back, and the wild card's like 3 back, right? So, I mean, all of this is on your heels. So we have conflicting. This just goes to how fascinating this conversation is. Donnie Boy says we had the lead. It was the pen that blew it. And then Johnny Owen says slow playing Ohtani with only 50 games left is kind of a crazy concept by it's not Dave Roberts. That's not just Dave Roberts making that decision.
Right.
That's a team decision.
That's true.
But there's a big conflict there, isn't there?
There is. And, I mean, the Dodgers, they need to step it up. I mean, it's at the point where the Padres are breathing down their necks now, and they really need to I talked about it in the last podcast. It's really hard to repeat as a champion because maybe, and I hope that's not the case for the Dodgers, but sometimes teams just don't have the same fire and the same resolve to repeat. And the Dodgers are, kind of cruising through the dog days here, so to speak, and they really need to step it up and start doing the little things that it takes to win games.
So that kind of brings me to my next point, and we're going to get into a wonderful down the farm. We've got Aiden Feller, who absolutely shoved last night. We have just a tremendous amount. Actually, let me get to my notes here. Aiden Feller, who just absolutely shoved. He leads the Cal League in strikeouts. You want to check out him. We have Emil Morales. Joendry Vargas made his return last night for the Quakes. Jose Mesa has been hitting very well. We got some young, outstanding. James Tibbs III went 4 for 4 last night for AA Tulsa. We will cover him. He's been on fire. We're going to cover the Adam Serwanowski, his outing where he went scoreless in, 7 innings, I think it was, for Great Lakes the other day. We'll go over his mix. Zach Earhart. So James Tibbs III, Zach Earhart were the 2 returns for Dustin May. They have been just playing absolutely awesome. And then another young man that just got the call right here. Let me actually get some video up on the board of him. Justin Dean, if you have not seen him, this kid is electric. Went Division II to Lenore Rhine out of high school. He's gone from Division II all the way to the major leagues, has that Pete Rose type of hustle. Definitely centers his game around speed and just really an electric personality, just electric aura to him. So super excited for Justin Dean.
Yes, I saw that Sports Illustrated mentioned that you announced that. So
yes.
You broke that news that Justin Dean's going to be called up. I haven't seen the corresponding roster move yet, but yeah, I'm excited for him because he's had a long road to the major leagues. He's playing in the Mexican League for the last couple of years, and he's exciting. He's another guy that you talked about, the Dodgers bringing in guys with speed, and he has blazing speed. He's very excellent defensively, and he gets on base. He's always gotten on base. I think his on base percentage this year is over 370. So he's really doing a good job of getting on base and playing good defense, stealing bases. He has 25 stolen bases. So yeah, I'm excited for him. These guys that they play for so many years, hoping to get their call up to the major leagues, and looks like he's finally getting that. So I'm excited for him.
Super excited. Just a wonderful young man. Got a chance to, matter of fact, I'm going to release of course, this is all per sources. I don't think the Dodgers have officially announced it yet. This is per sources, and hey, sources can be wrong, but I can tell you the source that gave it to me is very direct to the organization and has been correct on that source broke the Hae-Sung Kim deal, the Dalton Rushing deal, and all of that. The Diego Cartaya, there's been about 7 or 8 of these that we've been able to break, and that's the same source. So hopefully the source is right. It's never been wrong before. Obviously, I trust the source well enough to go with something like that. So as long as the Dodgers don't change their mind or whatever in midstream, which I don't think they are, definitely congratulations to Justin Dean. So let me ask you this, Mark. We have a comment in the chat here, which is absolutely awesome. Cole says you don't hear a lot of people saying it's just one game about the Dodgers' struggles anymore because they're out of big picture mode. So is there enough sense of urgency? I mean, you said the Dodgers are just kind of floating. I don't know I can't remember the word you put it, through the dog days of summer. That's not good enough. Every game has to be urgent. Fans have understood it's not just one game anymore. Mm-hmm. Hey, we're in the period of the season to where it's getting to be crunch time. So do you see enough sense of urgency with this team?
Well, the thing about baseball is sometimes teams just look like they don't have a sense of urgency, or they look lackadaisical when they're not hitting, because when they start hitting, it becomes contagious and they look very energetic. And then when guys are struggling, they look lackadaisical. So it's hard to say. The quality of guys on this team, I don't think they're going to do less than full effort. But they're struggling offensively. And the thing about baseball, sometimes the harder you try, the more of a challenge it becomes, because you don't, if you kind of have to relax as a hitter and not get inside your own head too much, but you also have to be able to perform, and so they're, I think it's just hard to say what the problem is with so many guys struggling offensively. It's I would hope that it's not them being taking it easy or being lackadaisical, but they need to show that they have what it takes to do it again. We'll see if they do.
I've been saying it for a while now. The Padres are a problem. Mason Miller just absolutely plowed through the D-backs last night. And here's the problem. His last pitch, by the way, was 103. He was, the Diamondbacks, it wasn't just that he struck out the side to end the game. They could have hit for 2 weeks, and they were not going to put him in play. They were not going to hit him. They had no chance against Mason Miller. So I say that to say, I don't even feel like the Padres have been playing very well even the last 2 months, and they've just kind of slowly crept back up on the Dodgers. So are the Padres as big of a problem as I'm kind of leading on that I think that they are right now?
I mean, they're definitely a threat. Obviously, every year it seems to be the same thing. That I'm sure the Dodgers are going to have a big challenge from them, obviously, and they'll probably end up playing each other in the playoffs again. One thing I have noticed is, as you said, they're not even playing probably at their full potential. But as far as their clutch hitting this year, they're like hitting with runners in scoring position. That's one thing that they haven't done well. The Dodgers have for the most part. So that could be a big factor down the stretch. And we'll see what this team is made of. I guess it's going to be exciting to see.
Yeah, and the next 3 series we have a great comment here, very complicated. You have Toronto, then you have the Angels, and then the Padres. And Toronto was very cold there for a minute. They're hitting the ball very well now. It doesn't get any easier. I mean, it very well, you could, if you don't play well against the Toronto Blue Jays, they are going to kick your ass. We saw the last time that the Dodgers played the Angels, they got swept. So, I mean, it could very easily, if you don't get your crap together, the Padres could be in the lead in the NL West by the time you play them. So you have six games with the Padres this month. You have the Blue Jays. It's an interesting month because you have like the Reds, average team, Padres, good team, 6 games, Toronto, great team. It's kind of that roller coaster ride this month where it's either a great team or a team that you should beat with kind of the Reds in the middle. So this stretch coming up is going to be a hell of a lot of fun.
Yes, and the Dodgers seem to get a little extra motivation when they play those teams. I think it's human nature. They were kind of struggling when they went into some series against National League West rivals, the Giants and the Padres, and they were able to win those series. So I'm hoping they step it up when they face better competition and get extra motivation and take those series from them.
We have a comment from TikTok here. Let me get back up to it. This is from Whatchamacallit joins just about every time. Hey, make sure if you're on the TikTok side, leave a comment, say hi, do something, because if there are no comments for a certain amount of time, then TikTok actually kicks you off because of inactivity. So Whatchamacallit, Dadpool, all the 3D scale parts, my Artesian, Alba Construction, all of you on the TikTok side, leave a comment every minute or two, even if it's just said hi or hi, I'm joined or whatever, just so the TikTok does not kick this live feed off. So we have a comment that the Dodgers have treated, because of age, because of injuries, because of all that, they basically treated this entire season as an extended spring training. I'm sure there's layers to agreement or disagreement with that. It's not just a black and white deal, but what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I guess to a certain extent, they because of all the injuries, sometimes it almost looks like it is extended spring training when having to integrate guys back into the lineup after injury. I wouldn't go so far as to say it's like extended spring training, but they've had such a roller coaster of guys coming in and out, or such a rotation of guys, I guess you could say. But they, it's been a rough year, just like last year with so many injuries they've had, especially on the pitching side.
Yeah. So let me ask you this: we have a question. What do the Padres? This is from W. Bassig on the TikTok side. What do the Padres need to do to overtake? We have some Padres fans on the TikTok side, and by the way, they're very respectful. Awesome fans, so thank you so much. We want everybody. We want the most well-balanced and well-rounded conversation we can get. And so their question is, I think W. Bassig is a Padres fan. The question there is, what do the Padres need to do to overtake the Dodgers? My response before I kick it over to you, Mark, would be just be consistent. The Padres are this. They're either really good or really bad, it seems like, or they're coming back and winning games, or they're blowing games they shouldn't. So I think if the Padres just stay consistent, they will have a better chance than people realize to overtake the Dodgers.
I mean, I would agree. They're a very talented team. In past years, I feel like the Padres have almost been too emotional, and it's hurt them in different situations. And if they kind of dial that back a little bit and kind of stay on more of an even keel and just really focus, they're gonna be better off for it.
The injuries for the Dodgers is kind of the way they're playing or just the way that they are. Here's the question, okay? First of all, at this point in the season, can you use injury still as an excuse? Have you had enough time to work around the injuries? And B, this is a question I'm going to interview Steven Nelson later on today, going to release that interview tomorrow. And this is one of the questions I'm going to ask him. It's really weird because the Dodgers have a 2-game lead, the second best record in the NL, maybe third. I haven't looked as of recently. Phillies and Brewers are both up there. But they're up there. They're one of the best records in all the game of baseball.
Right.
With all the injuries, the pitching staff that's gone down, the injuries to the position players. Is this a team that's I fight with this in my own brain. Is this a team that's underachieved, or is this a team that has actually overachieved based on all the shit burgers they've been given?
To an extent, I think, despite the injuries, I feel like because they have so much talent and depth in the organization, I feel like they've underachieved. Just over the last month, there have been a lot of winnable games that if they were, doing anywhere near what they should be doing offensively, they would have won, somewhere in the range of 5 to 10 more games, I'm sure. So to an extent, they just have underachieved, and a large part of it has been due to the offense. The bullpen has obviously been inconsistent, but part of that is injuries. But they've gotten most of their guys back. There's still a couple of key relievers that obviously they could use, like Kopech and Gratterall are two of the guys that I'm thinking about. But I would say they've underachieved a little bit, especially over the last month.
Okay, so before we take it to the down the farm, we've had a wonderful chat. When does Kopech come back? I don't think anybody knows. I think Roki Sasaki would be the guy that you really need to be honing in on to bring, as far as in-house, that could bring bullpen relief. I think he's the guy that you really need to be focusing in on at this moment, because it really looks like he's going to make it back. That, again, I did not think that was possible. So before we get to our down the farm, give me your number one overachievement for this team this year. Like, hey, they've done better than I expected based on what they've been giving, and your number one underachievement that you've seen so far with this group, and just your gut. What do you think is going to happen down the stretch?
Well, I guess overachievement. There have been a couple of young players that have done really well. Like Pages has really broken out this year and done very well. And then a couple of young pitchers have pitched very well, like Sheehan and Wrobleski have filled in really well. So, but it's hard to say in any one area they've overachieved, like starting pitching, relieving, offense, definitely not. From an underachieving standpoint, as I said, they're just very really underachieving offensively. Too many guys are just not hitting. Obviously, Mookie has not been hitting well virtually all year. And Teo has been in a long tailspin. Ohtani hasn't really seemed to be himself. So it's been frustrating on that side.
I'm on Gregory's side here. See if you agree with me here. I get the Max Muncie injury. I get he was your best offensive player whenever he went down. But when you spend this amount of money, when you have 3 Hall of Famers in your lineup, and you put together such a daunting lineup that everybody thought you were buying a championship with, I mean, okay, even if you lose Shohei Ohtani, this lineup should have been built better to just be a juggernaut and run right through it. Now, you're not going to do that every day. And you're going to have a week, maybe even 2 weeks, a couple of series, maybe 3 series to where it doesn't look good. That happens to every team. I get it. But there's no way that one guy, especially Max Muncie, and losing him should affect this offense the way that it has since basically the beginning of July.
No, I totally agree that it's a mystery, and I tell you one thing that I worry about going forward over the next couple of years is age playing a factor in how these guys are playing. They've had some injuries. Freddie Freeman, Mookie Betts had that mysterious sickness at the beginning of the year. So I guess with those two guys and Teo, obviously, the age factor kind of enters my mind. It makes me wonder if that could be playing into it too, but hopefully not. Because the next couple of years they have these guys under contract and they need to perform.
I keep saying one last thing, but going back to the Padres, I'm just fascinated with this Padres-Dodgers situation this year. Are we in the? I know Edith Shiva said the other day we are renting space in the Padres' head, and I think it was Gregory or maybe been Cole. Somebody in the chat made a great point too. That it just seems like the Padres get too amped up whenever they play the Dodgers. So this version of the Dodgers, do you think the Padres might psych themselves out to where they almost beat themselves? Is that a possibility?
Well, that's kind of what I was alluding to earlier with them getting overly emotional and kind of maybe losing their focus a little bit. The playoffs last year, it looked like they had the Dodgers. I mean, that was obviously a scary situation as a Dodgers fan, but and then the Padres just went cold. So I don't know what happened there. It happens in baseball, obviously, but they're going to be a huge challenge. And if they can, kind of contain themselves and maintain their focus, they're going to be a tough challenge for the Dodgers.
Who scares you the most, the Padres or the Phillies or the Brewers?
Ooh, that's a tough one. Yeah, they.
Are the Dodgers better than any of those teams?
At full strength, I still think they are. The bullpen is pretty questionable at this time because, we don't know what we're going to get out of it and who's going to be healthy and such. But at full strength with all of their guys hitting, I still like the Dodgers' chances because of all the guy, like you said, the 3 Hall of Famers they have in their lineup, and their lineup is strong from top to bottom, stronger still than the Padres or any of those teams. But teams like the Brewers have outstanding pitching. The Phillies have an all-around good team. So, I mean, wow, it's tough to say really at this point which of those teams is the biggest challenge. But I would say probably the Padres.
Oh, really? Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Even though at this point, because of all the additions that they made, I think they may be a better, the biggest all-around challenge to the Dodgers. Which one would you say?
One of those deals like last year that the winner of if the Dodgers and Padres face off in the playoffs, the winner of that's the World Series champion?
Well, I mean,
the Padres were the second best team in baseball last year. Nobody's going to convince me differently.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah, and this year, by the way, we talked. I remember thinking the other day where the Giants were looking good for a while, and we talked about that. And I said, you asked me if I thought the Giants were going to a pretender or a contender, and I said, I think more of a pretender. And
yeah, you're right.
That did turn out to be the case with them, but the Padres were looking like they were falling for a while, but they got it together and came back. But baseball is a streaky game, and the Dodgers could still turn around and have a hot streak like that. I'm hoping that they do. I think they still have it in them. They have such an outstanding collection of talent that I think these guys, they'll step it up and find a way to turn it on. I'm really hoping they do.
Yeah. And I'm going to go ahead and defend the bullpen. Okay. First of all, the injuries, that kind of deal. But damn, man, when you're starting pitching can't go 4 innings. I mean, we went like 2 months and didn't even get 5 innings out of our starters.
Right.
That bullpen has been absolutely taxed. It's a little bit older. You haven't had Blake Trinan for the most part. You haven't had Gratterall. You haven't had Michael Kopech. I'm going to go ahead and make the statement right now, based on the way that the starters have not created length, based on the injuries that you've had in the bullpen. I'm going to say the bullpen gets an A++ and actually has been probably the most impressive part of the Dodgers team this year, even though, like you said, from a results perspective, it has been inconsistent, but that can easily be explained away.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, they've had to pitch a crazy amount of innings this year, and some of the guys down there have just done a fantastic job. Alex Vesia he's been phenomenal. I mean, he's been the MVP of the bullpen, I would say. But Kasparius has done a really good job filling different roles.
Are you worried about him, though? He's leaking. You worried about Kasparius?
A little bit, yeah. But he's been jockeyed around between starting and relieving, and maybe that's had a little bit of an effect on him, or maybe they're figuring him out. The scouts are figuring things out about him, and he needs to change it up a little bit. It's a game of adjustments, obviously, but but he's filled a valuable role for them. Jack Dreyer's been doing an outstanding job. Great to have Trinan back, and hopefully he regains the consistency and dominance that he's shown in the past.
Yeah, and then hopefully Brock Stewart gets to being what he's been all year.
Right,
and,
yeah.
And that kind of deal. So who are, let's say that, you got to put, we said earlier in the year, you have an A team and not a B team, but you have an A team and then the second A team. So the first A team, if you're healthy, would be Blake Trinan, Alex Vesia. If Tanner Scott was throwing well, Tanner Scott, that kind of deal. So who, based on who you have right now, who would be your A team bullpen?
Well, I mean, obviously you would have to have Trinan and Scott, a healthy Scott. Vesia is obviously in there. And then if they get Kopech back, he would be a key part of it.
Would he be part of your A team? Would you trust him?
I would for say eighth inning guy.
Doesn't throw enough strikes for me, man.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, he went through a really good stretch last year, and he was a key part of what they did. So, but he's been out for so long, it's hard to really count on him too much right now.
Yeah.
So, like you said, Sasaki could be an interesting addition because he could really, play a key role down there.
Yeah, that's going to be an interesting question: who the A team bullpen is, and then who gets the last three out. So. Very, very interesting conversation, very interesting. I'm going to put it to you this way, okay, and I think you can tell by my tone. There's plenty of time, so certainly no panic, certainly. But I am out of process mode. I'm into results mode. This is I'm in the down the stretch mode where every single thing matters at this point. So I'm not panicked, but I will say this. I have a lot of concerns, maybe more than you do, maybe more than some of the fans. But I will openly admit I have a lot of concerns about and doubts about this team.
Yeah, I mean, I do too. It's hard not to at this point, and things get magnified when you're going through a stretch like this. People start, blaming Roberts. Oh, it's Roberts' fault, or they start blaming, finding scapegoats. That's the way it goes when you're going through a stretch like this. And but I'm still. I definitely have some concerns, but I'm still confident that this group and with this much talent, they're going to turn it around and do what they need to do.
Yeah. Okay. So final thoughts before we get on to our down on the farm.
It's interesting. Overall, organizationally, you touched on it a little bit earlier. I kind of wonder if the Dodgers are kind of coming around to the idea of adding speed and playmaking, like defensive ability into the organization more. I kind of wonder if baseball is coming back around to that mode instead of just going for launch angle, and that type of game. So it's a more exciting game to me. I miss that particular type of baseball.
All right, let's not waste more time. Let's get right to it, and let's take a trip down the farm. So this right here is Aiden Fuller. Aiden Fuller leads the Cal League in strikeouts. 96-mile-an-hour fastball, absolutely dirty stuff. He is like all these young guys. The Dodgers minor league system, it is just absolutely unbelievable. Let me make sure everything's working right here. It is absolutely unbelievable how many walks the Dodgers minor league system has given up this year. Oklahoma City leads the PCL in walks. Tulsa leads the Texas league in walks. Great Lakes leads the Midwest League in walks. Actually, Rancho has been one of the reprieves there because they had guys like Christian Zazueta, Nicolas Cruz, who are very good strike throwers. So I say that to say Aiden Fuller is another one of these young arms that has ridiculous strikeout rates, ridiculous swing and miss stuff when he is in the zone. But that's a capital W-H-E-N, the execution part of it.
Right, and that's one of the big things with young pitchers is they have to, build that command, and he doesn't have that part of his game yet. So he's been inconsistent so far. And he still has better than a 2-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio, yes. I noticed, but he definitely needs to cut down on the walks and improve his command. Which
is great. He's a young man out of Southern Illinois. And hey, man, when you're with the Quakes, what you're trying to do is you're trying to fill up a big gulp. And what I mean by that is you're trying to see how many pitches can I throw, and what's the perfect mix between having great stuff like we see with Bobby Miller, but then also where's the cutoff line where I have so much stuff and I'm trying to do so many different things and I'm not actually executing. Aiden Fuller's a wonderful young man. He's super smart. He is one of them that I would bet on he will find that perfect mix as we go on last night. But last night was a tremendous start for him. 7 innings pitched. I believe he gave up, what, do you have the stats in front of you there, Mark? I do not have them in front of me, but 7 innings pitched. He struck out a ton of guys last night, so super exciting to watch Aiden Fuller.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't have the stats in front of me either, but yeah, he had a terrific start, and hopefully, it'll get him on, on a consistent path, more consistent path than he's had, and he'll get on a roll here. But yeah, as you said, he has great stuff, and just needs to harness his command and focus on the pitches that are going to make him successful.
100%. So let's get to a next guy that is a super exciting young prospect, very big prospect in the system. I love this guy. Emil Morales, good speed. He's 6'3", probably going to end up playing third base, and I don't say that because he's not good enough to play shortstop. But when you have Joendry Vargas and Alex Freeland and Sean McClain and all these just wonderful players at shortstop, Oswaldo Rosario. I mean, the Dodgers have a million different shortstops. He is definitely a candidate to play a third base type position, so he's going to create defensive versatility. Love Emil Morales. Had a nice night last night with 2 hits.
Yeah, he's really exciting. I don't say I hated to see Eduardo Quintero go, but yes. I'm excited for him that he was promoted, and it was well deserved. But they called a couple of other guys up like Emil Morales, and he's going to kind of fill that void a little bit for like a super exciting player to watch.
Yeah, I would totally agree with that. Emil Morales, and he's also a leader on the field as well. So very exciting to see Emil Morales, and another guy that we have not covered enough on Dodgers Dogs as part of the Dodgers Daily Network. I didn't realize how good of an athlete that Jose Meza is. Jose Meza, he can hit some home runs like we saw him do last night, but this kid, I think he's like in the top 10 in stolen bases. And just another great athlete in Jose Meza for the Rancho Cucamonga Quakes. Really nice prospect. Have not talked enough about him. Here's his hits from last night.
Yeah, I hadn't realized that either. And he has a good all-around game. He hit, I think you mentioned he hit over 300 in July, and he's off to a really good start in August also. So he's another guy who keeps going the way he is. He could be a possibility for the Dodgers. Yeah,
a nice young prospect, and it's good to see him have success. So I wanted to cover him because we have not covered him enough. So let's talk about some of the prospects the Dodgers got back. It was interesting. The Dodgers improved both their farm system and their major league club all in one fell swoop. With the Dodgers are great at doing that kind of stuff. So they improved both their farm system and their major league club all in the trade deadline. And you talk about improving. The 2 young guys the Dodgers got back for Dustin May. James Tibbs III, what a huge night last night. Mark, dive in.
Yes, they didn't make the big splashes on the major league level that you would have liked, but a lot of these kind of under the radar trades that the Dodgers front office makes that really pay dividends later. They got some outstanding prospects, and James Tibbs was one of them. 4 for 4 last night and walked twice, so he's on base all 6 times. But he's really exciting. He has an excellent hit tool. Yes. Excellent swing. He uses the whole field. He has power. So, he's going to be really exciting to watch.
Yeah, both him and Zach Earhart, who we're going to talk about right now, they immediately came over to the Dodgers farm system and immediately were one of the top prospects in the system. I'm not big on prospect rankings just for several different reasons, but these 2 young men deserve it because they're both very good. Zach Earhart has come to the Dodgers swinging, and the Drillers needed it because offense has been an issue with them.
Absolutely. Yeah, Zach Earhart, he's another exciting guy. His really good speed, really good all-around game, and he's still really young. He's 22 years old, but he shows a really good ability to hit for average here. He has so far. I know you watched him a lot at Oklahoma State. I think you said you saw every at bat of his.
Yes, I did.
But he just became a professional last year. He's already they kind of challenged him from the beginning, started him out at high A, and most players struggle a little bit early on, but this year at high A, he was hitting 342 with a 471 on base percentage, and that's
Yep. Mark's cutting out a little bit there, so we'll move on to our next guy, a young man. Hey, Mark, if you can hear me or whatever, you have cut out, and so we cannot hear you at the moment. Just you can either log back in or you can.
For a young, but it takes a while to adjust, and he's off 55, so hasn't shown a lot of power yet, but he's still a young guy, so that could come for him.
Definitely a gap-to-gap hitter. So the next guy we're going to talk about, the Dodgers also got in the trade deadline the unique, funky delivery of Adam Serwanowski, and he went 7 innings the other night scoreless and was totally dominant. He struck out the first hitter that he faced. He struck out the side in the first inning. He struck out the first 5 hitters he faced. He faced only 4 over the minimum. Adam Serwanowski was totally impressive. If you can hear me, Mark, if you're not cutting out. Can you hear me, Mark?
Yeah, cutting out. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Yeah, there you go. I think you're good now.
Okay. Yeah, I think I had too many apps open on my laptop here.
Okay.
He's what a great first start for him for the Dodgers. He as you mentioned, he has kind of a funky delivery, but that could work to his advantage, obviously. What more can you ask for the way he started with the Dodgers? He's going to be exciting to watch.
Matter of fact, let me give me just a second here. This might be a little bit clunky because I got to go back up to the top of my X feed because I want to make sure and get this out here on Serwanowski. So let me scroll back down. Give me just a second here. So there is my Tulsa right there. There's Oklahoma City. Confirmation of his exact mix. So the fastball for Serwanowski is 93 to 97. He was in the 96 range the other night. His fastball has some ride to it, which means that carry, that backspin makes it look like to the hitter that the ball is rising to it. It also has some cut. So a lot of guys have the ride and run fastball. He has a ride and cut fastball. So that's unique in and of itself, kind of like a cutter, but a cutter that has ride to it and is about 6 mile an hour faster than it normally would be. So that's unique. His windup is unique. He has a curveball at 81 to 85 and a change at 88 to 91. So Adam Serwanowski, I wanted to cover his exact mix. And then you talk about guys that throw really hard. And this is a guy I've said he has absolute Rolodex potential, and I will not ever back down from that. Well, here is your proof from last night, and that is Alex Makarowicz. Alex Makarowicz last night, here's actually the pitch right here. He hit 100 miles an hour. That pitch right there, 100. Alex Makarowicz, you're going, who the hell is this guy? Another guy, again, needs to work on his control, but a lightning bolt for right arm, and he has a serious slider.
Right. Yeah, he's got a power arm. It always gets your attention when guys hit triple digits, but he has outstanding stuff, and he's just another young guy who needs to obviously gain consistency and command, and he could be a factor for them.
Okay, this was not on our agenda, but we have a question from TikTok, so we're going to cover it. We have a question. What do you think about Kendall George? Kendall George, since the All-Star break's been over, has been maybe the best player in the Midwest League. When you put into consideration what he's supposed to do for his team, let's put it to you this way. Maybe the most valuable, maybe not the best, but the most valuable. This dude has stolen like 20-some-odd bases since the All-Star break. He's over 60 stolen bases. He broke D. Gordon's fastest of 50 stolen bases in the history of the Loons. And the thing that he's doing is he's actually getting base hits and getting on base. So his batting average since the All-Star break is I think it's over 500 at this point. So Kendall George, we had a question about him. Your thoughts on Kendall George?
Yeah, we talked about him, I know, on the last podcast, and as you know, I love players with that type of speed, and they can be game changers just with their speed. And yeah, he's been doing an outstanding job of getting on base, and I hope that they. I know he has gotten some bunt hits. He's kind of slaps the ball some. So I hope he becomes a good bunter too, because he can use that. But yeah, you know, as we talked about, the Dodgers have kind of gone back to getting really super athletic players like
There's
this.
There's your bunt base here, right here, Mark.
Oh, yeah.
There you go, right here, right on cue. How about that? That's pretty good right there, man.
Love that. Yeah, because it puts when a pitcher is kind of in a groove, you know, and something like that, a bunt can really take him out of his game, especially you get a fast guy like that on base, and then he's got to focus on the runner, and it can really take him out of their game.
This is 3.6 from home to first. Now, pretty much an elite base runner at the major league level is going to be right around 4. So to register 3.6, that's just not even human. That's incredible. Absolutely. That right there.
I only wish I'd been able to see him on the Quakes last year. But
no doubt.
Yeah.
Okay, another guy who, hey, we're talking about the young lefties in the system. Of course, you have Maddox Bruns. Now you have Serwanowski. You've obviously got Jackson Ferris. But then two guys that get overlooked a lot are, of course, and then you have the lefty at Rancho, Sterling Paddock. The two guys I think that get overlooked the most are Luke Fox, who had a really nice outing for Double-A Tulsa, but then especially this guy right here, and that would be Wyatt Crowell. Wyatt Crowell, as a matter of fact, let me get to last night's video. This is from last night. Wyatt Crowell, wow, what an outing last night. 7 innings scoreless for him.
Yeah, he's another, as you said, another guy that's been kind of overlooked. But yeah, he had an outstanding start, and that's really exciting to see. He looks like he has outstanding stuff, and he's going to be an exciting one to watch. Yeah,
no doubt about it. Wyatt Crowell has been very, very, very good. And so another guy that on the lefty train here that we mentioned, the two guys I think have been the most overlooked as far as left-handed pitchers in the system. This is right here, Luke Fox. Terrible video, but Luke Fox, a young man out of Duke that has really good stuff.
Yes, I think you mentioned his ERA is down to 169. He's had some injury problems thus far in his career, but he's off to an outstanding start this year. And the Dodgers, they have a good variety of lefties in the organization right now, and he's one of them.
He absolutely is. He can get up to about 96, and he has a wide range of pitches. He went to Duke, and he just understands sequencing so well. And because he understands it and he owns it, that typically really helps him execute better. So Luke Fox is a young man that is a very talented left-handed pitcher that I think gets overlooked. And so let's get to our last guy that you had on your list tonight, and that would be Jose Ramos. Jose Ramos, hey, man, he's been sneaky. He's been really good since he's been promoted to AAA, hasn't he?
He has been, yeah. He's been hitting the ball really well, and obviously, I mean, he may be one of the guys with the most power in the Dodgers organization. He has really good raw power, but he's been hitting really well for OKC since he was promoted.
Yeah, totally agree. So we're going to get back to our talk here, and we're going to wrap things up. We have a good conversation going on about the topic of the starters not going long enough. So as we go down the stretch and we get all these starters back, hopefully we're getting Blake Trinan back. Is there any concern that the starters have not gone long enough, and that's going to have a lasting effect that actually will have a negative impact on the playoffs? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, it has been an issue this year. The bullpen is probably, I know at one point they had pitched more innings than any other bullpen, and I think that's probably still the case. But I think they do need to start getting them to go deeper into games. Obviously, Shohei Ohtani in particular. But I think once, now they have Snell and Glasnow back, once they get in the groove, you'll see them going, 6-7 innings, I'm hoping. So, but it definitely has been a concern, and it's been very taxing on the bullpen. As you mentioned, you gave them credit earlier, and a lot of those guys have really been worked hard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because the thing is, if the offense comes and goes, and so we saw it in the bullpen game last year, The margin for now, if the offense for the Dodgers shows up and they score 12 runs like they did in Game 2 against the Cardinals, and Teo hits a couple of home runs, Max, that's a good game. Your Hall of Fame 3 have good games. Andy gets a hit or two. Michael Conforto might move a runner or even get a hit. If that happens, the Dodgers are going to beat no matter who it is they're playing. They're going to score 12 runs, and they're going to win that game. Exactly, the question is, when the offense plays like it did in Game 1 and Game 3 of the Cardinals games, can you win? And so that comes down to pitching. And so we'll see if the bullpen is good enough, if the starting pitching can go deep enough for that to happen. So seeing what you've seen now, the conversations we've had to where the starters all year, here's one of my biggest contentions. I think we're all in agreement here. We'll see what you think. Because the starters haven't gone very, very long all year, I felt like the Dodgers needed to get another bullpen arm at the trade deadline. Are you on that bandwagon?
I definitely would have liked to have seen them get another arm, especially one of the elite arms. But sometimes it depends on who's available and what they're asking for, obviously. So a guy like Mason Miller, the Padres gave up a lot to get him, and the Dodgers, I don't even know if they had the package to put together to get a guy like that, because the Padres gave up the numbers,
right?
Who's set to be the number 3 prospect in all of baseball. Yeah, so it comes down to obviously who they have to offer and what the team is looking for. But anyway, I would have loved to see them get another arm, but hopefully Scott and Yates will be able to come back and do what they did last year at some point.
Yeah, and you remember, just don't forget, Walker Buehler this time last year was horrible. I mean, he was horrendous.
True.
He's one of the worst pitchers in Major League Baseball.
Yes.
And I think we ended up with a pretty positive idea about him last year. So a guy that has the stuff of Tanner Scott, a guy with the track record of Kirby Yates, a guy like Blake Trinan, they could easily turn into the best 3 relievers in the game overnight. I mean, that's how those guys, like Walker Buehler, did. Now, is that likely to happen? I'm not saying that, but it certainly could.
Yeah, absolutely. And Yates, he's struggled this year with injuries, unfortunately, and he's kind of had a little bit of a track record of that. But hopefully he can come back and contribute also. And if those 2 guys could somehow get back into the mode they were in last year and get on a roll, the Dodgers' problems will be solved.
Yeah, Blake Trinan too. So hey, any final thoughts here? This has been a wonderful conversation, Mark. What a great job you've done. I just love covering the prospects and just kind of going from A to Z throughout the entire system. Great job, Mark. Final thoughts.
Thank you. It's just as we talked about the Dodgers. There's still a lot of time left in the season in a way, but the Dodgers just need to pull it together and start hitting consistently. And as you said, maybe get the starters going deeper in the game so the bullpen isn't taxed so much. Yeah. But they have some big series coming up, and we'll see what they're made of, I guess you could say.
Hey, Mark, thanks again to all you Dodgers dogs. Thank you so much for tuning in. You know that you are the absolute best chat on earth. Not the biggest, but the best baseball talk you will find anywhere on earth. No doubt about it. So thank you again. And one last reminder, it's a great day to be a Dodger.